Encik Anwar, who is Approved Financial Advisor, Bank Negara Malaysia and Securities Commission. He is also the head of Islamic Financial Planning of VKA Wealth Planners. Without further ado, let me invite and pass over this session to Encik Anwar Shoaib.
Thank you very much, Encik Khalil, for introducing myself to the audience. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon. Welcome to MFPC series of webinar. Thank you for supporting MFPC program. For now, inshallah, we'll try to share the best we can what is happening surrounding us with the COVID-19, with experience that we have never had before, and it's something new for us, something that we need to embrace. Never say never. There's no way for us to avoid it, but how we're going to face it, that's going to make the difference. Before I go further, let me share a little bit of a survey that done by our survey Malaysia about from the 23rd to 31st March, based on the 168,000 respondents, whereby tells us from this survey about the reality. I believe all the members, audience here, already attended some of the program from MFPC and understand the requirement for each individuals, what they need to do their proper financial plannings. But nevertheless, not everybody really follow what they have learned, and not everybody share what they have learned. Webinar that MFPC doing today is one of the way that we share with the audience some things that can benefit all community, especially MFPC community. We have learned in our classroom, we have learned that everybody need to make sure that they have 6-month reserve, so that during the emergency time, they can use that 6 months reserve for them to buy food and whatever necessary when they need the money. But in reality, may not be the same. Other than that, we must make sure from whatever amount that we earn, we must save. And we do share that with our client, whoever we serve, be it the client is our personal client, be it the client, our organizational client, or be them the community that's outside there. But the things that do they really practice? So here are some of the survey results that we gathered. Out of the numbers, more than about 170,000 members that replied to the survey, mentioned that about 52% are really impacted by this COVID-19. Meaning to say that they don't have enough money to survive. Only 6.2% say that they are ready. Then they have no issue with the COVID-19, with the MCO that we are facing right now. Only 6.2% are ready. That means to say, we as MFPC members has a lot to do to educate the public, the community, to get them ready. Now, on the amount of savings, I discussed just now that every individuals need to make sure that they have saving enough for them to survive for the next 6 months. But in reality, from the survey, maximum that allow that they can have enough numbers of months that they can survive is 4 months. And that also, the group of people that can survive up to 4 months, only the GLC employees. Only GLC employees and MNC employees. Out of that, also GLC employees, only 79% GLC employees can survive with 4 months. And only 75% can survive within 4 months. For the people who are working in the private sector, for the employees who are working in the private sector, they only can survive up to 2 months if this MCO were to continue. The employers, 77% say and agree that they can survive for 2 months, whereby the private sector employee, 82%, saying that they can survive up to 2 months. It's very critical. And we see that many of us outside there who are working on their own, running their own self-business, 71% having saving enough for them only for 1 month. Very critical. Only 1 month they can survive. So this, I'm telling you, is a reality. This is not something that I just plucked from the air. This is from the result of the survey. Now, on the employability from the agriculture business, from the fisheries industry, 1/3 lost job. From the services industry, more than 1/3 lost job. Especially we can see like food industry, restaurant cannot be opened up and so forth. And for the people who are working on their own, about 46.6%, they lose job. No more job for them. And 94% say that their income being reduced already during MCO, COVID-19. Yeah? And about 35% saying that they lost about 90% of their income. This is survey recorded from people who are working on their own. They're doing and running their own business. So this is very, very, very critical. But on the other side, only the industry workers impacted the lessest, which is only about 11% in the construction industry, because you can see the MRT is still running and so forth. So that at least help our economy. Now, when we're looking at that, out of that figures also, about 2/3 or 71% from the respondent shows that they only can survive for 1 month, telling us that it is very critical, that saving is very critical. But what happened? We have been educating the public outside there to have enough money to save. But in reality, they don't have that amount of money for them to survive for the next period if MCO will to be continued, because only 2/3 say that they can survive only for a period of 1 month. So this is why this session is to share what we can do, how we can do to survive, to make sure that we can go through these issues, this problem, this pandemic that bring not only the illness that can bring people to death, but at the same time, it can bring the economy of the country and the world to their knee. So to weather the next recession to come, which we said that when people talking about recession, when people talking about the impression of the economic downturn, there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things that people say that are okay. The things is maybe something that can be managed, but the thing is that, do you know the level of recession that we're going to face? We had faced recession in 2008. We had faced recession in 1998. So these are the things that we had gone through. we managed to pull through. In 1997, 97, 98, it's because of currency attack. In 2008, it was because of the mortgage, whereby people, the banks are giving out loan to the people who are not able to pay, and this what bring the economic collapse to America and to the whole world. And the same thing, the impact come to Malaysia, but this time we face COVID-19. So the things that bring the economy down this time is not about other financial products, but it is coming and brought in by a virus, which is COVID-19. Now, what we're going to do to weather this? And is this the first virus that bring down the economy? No, really not. We had a there's a attack earlier where they call it what, black virus, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that wipe out big chunk of the population in the world. Millions of people died during that period. There are many things that happened to our world, but that was not in our time. We had Ebola, but it's not happening in our area. Malaysia doesn't experience that. It's only happened in Africa. But this COVID-19 is not happening only to specific area or to specific region, but it's happening to more than 170 countries, which already impact their people, bring death to people, bring down their economy. And we are also not reserved, Malaysia. So, but when we're looking at it, this shows that virus also something that we cannot take things lightly. Now, with what we can do. So if we can see Malaysia now, what we are doing is that we are using some way to control using our MCO to make sure that everybody stay at home. And please, my fellow colleague out there, please stay at home. Yeah? And by staying at home, we can have the webinar too. Yeah? Now, with the MCO, what we are thinking to do, we are going to bring down the numbers of cases, because not many people can be infected, because the way it infected people is via being close and a small particle that we breathe or we cough that infect other people. So in this one, we got to play a game whereby we got to protect each other. I protect you and you protect me. That's the kind of game that we need to play during this session. During this attack by the COVID-19. Now, on the economic part, what will happen to our economy then? Please make sure that you are ready and prepared. Because what is happening is that the economy may go down to the worst situation we never experienced before in our life. The worst in America was in 1929, Great Recession. So it can be worse than 1929 case. That's why we all get to be ready and do something on our own. So, but the thing is that not only on our own, we do have the government that helping us with the government's giving the stimulus package and so forth. Government giving the support to the public. Government giving the support also to the SMEs, because SME contribute about 70% of our employment. Yeah? That's why our SME is very important. Now, so if you wanted to get ourselves ready, I believe my fellow colleague outside there already learned about risk management. So these are the risks that are in front of us right now. So how are we going to do it? First thing first, we need to identify the risks that we are facing. So what are the risks that we are facing? Here, we are facing illness risk, which is being brought in by COVID-19. So what? So when we know this, so you must know what is more important. So that's why we go to the next level later. But on top of that, is it only risk that we are facing? Is only illnesses that brought in by COVID-19 that can bring death to people? No, not only that. There are other risks that come together. Economic risk, which a lot of people will lose job. We can see outside Malaysia, people being laying off in numbers of thousands. And we can see the news daily. So this is very scary, right? But the thing is that even though it is very scary, we need to face it bravely. Don't be scared. Inshallah, we'll be able to face it together, not by being alone, yeah? Together with our government, together with our colleague, together with our employer, together with our organization. So next, we're going to analyze the risk. So does the risk is very critical or not? On number one, we learn in Sharia RFP that the very important one is to look through the maqasid of Sharia. One of it is we need to protect life. Protecting life being put very important as a priority. To protect the life of a person is very critical. So we must make sure that we stay home. That's number one ruling. So the next argument comes, how to go? They say everybody stay home, no economic running. So how are we going to survive? Yes, number one, stay home first. Yeah, that's how we look at it. Yeah. Then, other than that, we look at the issue is now. Then, if I stay home, I may lose job. No worry, government already taken care of that because the government already put a moratorium to help us. Also, government already instruct the employer to make sure that nobody go to work. Okay, so some employer, if that is the case, some employer may allow you to continue working. But some employer also, as the earlier result I mentioned to you, may not be able to sustain business. But anyway, at least we can save life. That is number one priority. To save life is number one priority. To save job is considered secondary priority. I didn't say it is not important. It is important, but not the primary, not the number one. Okay, then we evaluate the level of risk that we have. When we see that the level of risk that brought in by COVID-19, it brings death, you know. So if it brings death, it's very serious. We must make sure that we must protect life, yeah. So protecting life comes first. Then, now, why, if I were to protect life, I lost job? True enough, Malaysia, the government make sure that you stay home, they provide food and so forth. They give you money some more. So that's why, if you can say, maybe we are luckier than some places. You look at in other countries, for example, India, the government locked down in 4 hours, and there are a lot of people, many of them stranded, cannot go back to their hometown. They have nothing to eat because they survive day to day. But Malaysia, we are very lucky. We are very lucky compared to them because we are being prepared everything. Even the people who don't have a house also being provided for by the government, and also with other NGO outside there are helping them. So the risk that we have now, the number one risk critical is a COVID-19 risk, which is a health risk, and number two risk, losing job, is considered important, but people lose job more frequent than the issues of COVID-19. And people may change job anytime as they wish. People may earlier working with the government, and then they said that I wanted to work with the private sector. They changed, they work with the private sector. And then later they said, I want to be my own, working on my own. Okay, they work on their own. And then later they say, oh, never mind lah, I can join back the government. So the frequency of people change job is normal. But life, once died, you are no more in this world. So it's very important to make sure that protect the number one first, which is protecting the life. And then next, we are talking about risk that we have. How are we going to treat it? That's why what we need to do is that the government already tell us to make sure that we stay home, then we can share with the government also, helping with the numbers that giving us, telling us who are impacted, which area you get to avoid, and so forth. And at the same time, we must make sure that we take care of our health, having enough vitamin and so forth. We must make sure that we have vitamin A, vitamin D, and so forth. Make sure you take vitamin C. Like myself also, I'm taking vitamin C, 1,000 milligram, to make sure that my family are healthy and manage to go through this crisis. And the government asked to do the MCO, social distancing, make sure that we are practice that, follow the government rules, and whoever don't follow, the government impose penalty up to 1,000 ringgit if they don't follow. It's good for us, follow the rules. And in the same situation, don't forget to look at opportunity. What opportunity? You realize that during this crisis, you look at one company that doing delivery, they deliver the household items, vegetables, meat, and so forth. They are using robotic in Europe. Prior to COVID-19, this company are doing so-so. It's a public listed company. But during COVID-19, they can't manage their growth, and they managed only to cater up to 150% growth during the period of COVID-19. And they got to make sure that they reject certain numbers of demand from the customer. They only handle the existing customer because they don't want to spoil their name, because they are using only robot. Not easy to increase business if they are using robot, because you need to buy machine and so forth. But if they may want to change the way they do business, instead of doing robot, they can bring another human being to do business manually. But the issue here, maybe they are not ready to use other than robot in their business of home delivery that they are having right now. Okay. So means opportunity is always there. How are we going to make sure that, like in Malaysia, the one in Europe, in Malaysia, if you read the news, there are one restaurant owner in PJ. This restaurant owner are always receiving fresh vegetables, meats, and so forth. And the client always asking this restaurant owner to sell the fresh vegetable and meats to them. But the restaurant owner didn't do that because he need to make sure that he have enough supply for himself to run the restaurant. But during this time now, he cannot operate restaurant. So he changed his business model. What he do, instead of opening up restaurant, the fresh vegetables and all the items that he received, he go and deliver from house to house to all his clients. But the key point here is not simple as that. Number one, because he have a database. He take care of his client's data. So during this time, he inform all the customer that he can supply his vegetables to them. He can supply the meat to them and all other things that household needs. So he changed the way he do business. So new opportunity arises. Seems I'm in front of you now using the webinar. So there are video teleconferencing are available. Even some of the video teleconferencing we never know before. During the COVID-19, this particular company cannot manage the support. The demands overwhelmed. So doesn't mean that it's new opportunity, right? So it means to say that there are always new opportunity, but please find the positive one. There are people also looking at opportunity. For example, during 2008 financial crisis, there are some bankers that they are shorting the market. They're taking advantages on the on downturn of economy, on the flop of mortgage certificate, which is very bad, and it is not allowed by Sharia. Then whatever it is, never follow the bad one. Follow the good one, like I shared with you just now, offering like some video conferencing service provider, like just now the restaurant owner or the European business that doing the home supply using robot. So that's the things that we can do, something good that people need. Give value to people. That's number one priority that we must think. Then on top of that, monitor the risk regularly. By monitoring the risk, we see the level of things that we can do, level of opportunity that we can do. Maybe after this COVID-19, people will use financial technology more. Like now, let's say, for example, if you want to collect the Grab food from the Grab car or from the Grab service provider, I believe you also don't want to touch the money or touch the items simply before you clean it or disinfect it, because you want to take care of our health, because taking care of health is a priority, taking care of our life is priority. But so how are you going to do the payment? So this is where the fintech, financial technology come into picture. And not only fintech, other technologies also play the role, like this video conferencing technology. And at the same time, we can do payment with financial technology. We have like, we have a Grab car, e-wallet, we have Boost, and so many. There are 40 over providers of e-wallet available in Malaysia. Avoidance, make sure that we avoid the people that risk, and we also make sure we control ourselves to make sure that we are not stay close with others whom we do not know, and don't go back to kampong, hometown. Make sure we stay, follow the rules. Okay. Then at the same time, is something green right here. If you can see that when we were young, maybe some of us coming from the kampong. So all of us here maybe come from different background. Like myself, I come from the kampong. I always go to the paddy field. Sometimes we just play around with it, and I do help my the family to plant the paddy. And sometimes the people from Thailand do come to plant the paddy, and that's how I managed to learn to speak Thai a little bit. So this is the things that we do. But the thing is that nowadays we change the way we live, the way we treat our children. We don't allow them to play with dirt and so forth. Actual fact, the studies and the science says that playing with dirt help increase our immune. And COVID-19, the things that can help us is our immune system. We need our immune system to help us to survive, because there's no vaccine yet. And now the vaccine is only still under study, not yet being released to open. So that's why sometimes we must look and make sure that the old way of doing things may be good to reduce the risk that we face nowadays, and at the same time continue doing what we may do in the past may help us. Now, going forward, we have learned that sharing is something good. You've learned that one of the way to go through the risk is among them is sharing it. Among the things that we should do, some of the economy, some of the country, they use a cooperative system. In China, there's one cooperative whereby they make every cooperative members a millionaires. All of them has a bungalow by themselves or house that are having the same quality among themselves in China. In Europe, we have a cooperative that having members whereby the salary they pay to the CEO the same as the salary they pay to the one who are picking fruits. So these are the things that we can do to overcome the situation together, because nobody an island. Nobody an island. So these are the things that we should do. But please make sure that on top of doing that, taking care of our health is important. And now, how to work together. If we got to make sure that we have a distance among us, don't worry. Take care. Wear your face mask together. Make sure that everybody wear your face mask, but not to be in the group. For example, how to share. For example, I cook. I say I prepare last time maybe I work in a restaurant, I prefer food. Then I wanted to make sure that I can deliver the food to others. Maybe my neighbor being working as a Grab delivery. So I can work together with my neighbor. So this is the kind of things that we can do. Myself being a financial advisor too, I don't work alone. I do help my customer to manage their finance, manage their wealth. But at the same time, I cannot do it alone. I will need a lawyer to help me to look at the legal document on what my customer wanted to do. I will need a tax advisor to make sure that my customer will get the best advice about tax. I will need an accountant. So I will need a company secretary to help me, to help my client. So that's how things are important of working together and share. And on top of that, this is my conclusion, whereby uh, we must go through whatever we face right now and manage it well. So that's why in investment, in reality of life, we cannot say that there are no risks. In our life, you come out from your house, there's a risk. That's why if you can look at the photo there, this guy that has cycling alone, if he fell to any of the side, he fell in the water, right? Okay, so just joking a little bit. So the here, what I'm going to show is that we must make sure that there are different weathers. There are good time, there are bad time, there are shiny time, there are dark time, there are night time. So what we need to do is that we got to go through that. We cannot say I don't want to go through night. We cannot go say that I cannot go through rain. Must go through together, but manage it. If there's rain, make sure we have umbrella ready, or otherwise stay at home until the rain stop. Then we go out. The same thing like this one. We are being advised to stay at home. Don't go out. Don't do anything else outside. But doesn't mean you cannot do anything at home. You can still advise your customer. If you are doing, for example, if you are advising your customer financially, for example, maybe EPF need to advise the customer on how to manage their retirement fund. So you can still advise the customer via video conferencing and so many other electronics. So to conclude that, I pass back to our host, Sheikh Khalil. Thank you. Any question? There are?
Yeah, any question from the floor? You can actually type in in the Q&A box, which is in, if you can see, you can type questions. Okay, I've got one question for J. Anwar. Okay, hold on. Just take this question. Okay, there is a question from Lawrence Xiao.
Okay.
Okay, the question is, our business as LFPs have the least capital expenses compared to other industry. It is also a good time to recruit new planners from those retrenched market positioning. Is it very important?
Yeah, great idea, Mr. Lawrence. So, yes, Mr. Lawrence, maybe with Mr. Lawrence is with FA firm. So, let's say that there are many people laying off, their employees being laid off, and they may need some new job. I think this is the best time for the people in FA industry to recruit them in to join the financial industry or as financial advisor or financial planner, because financial advisor is under Bank Negara and financial planner is under FC. Maybe this is a good time because why? They can stay at home, they can communicate with their customer to advise them financially from their home, and even the products, the recommendation, they can use it via iPad. And this is opportunity because those people cannot go elsewhere except by to be at their home, and this is the time they can do communication using the technology that we have, like what we have right now, video conferencing. Thank you so much for the question, Mr. Lawrence. I believe that does answer your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Any other questions from the floor? Okay, we have one question from Encik Nazir.
Yeah.
On marketing side, how can we do our prospecting effectively during the MCO?
Great question, Encik Nazir. Yeah. Now, if normal situation, we see even prior to the COVID-19 and prior to MCO, we already saw people using Facebook to promote their product, to market their products, to market their service, and so forth. And during those time, I think if you aware, you yourself, and we all are, prior to COVID-19 and prior to MCO, we may not have enough time to be in front of the screen, in front of the computer, in front of the handphone, because we are busy with doing our job, our daily things, and our daily tasks, and so forth. But this time, doesn't we realize that all of us now stuck to our handphone or to our computer, browsing and so forth. So I believe this is a good time for you to do marketing. Because why? You can easily access to all those customers because they always be having the gadget in front of them, and they can look at what kind of advice you are giving via Facebook, what kind of product you can offer via Facebook online, whereby prior to COVID, they don't have much time. Maybe you put things in front of them in the Facebook also, but they may not able to read it. So this is the good time for you to use that such a thing, use the technology to promote your product and services. I think that does answer another question.
Oh, okay. Okay, there's one more question from me actually. If the MCO is extended again, may I know what is the worth of living expenses should be stashed away in one's bank account 3 months or 5 months maybe?
Yeah, great. Thank you, Sheikh Khalil, for the question. Now, when we are talking about the discussion which I touched earlier, whereby we need to make sure that we have enough saving for at least 6 months. That stays. That is the best way, the ideal way that we manage, we're supposed to do. But the statistic I showed just now, mostly they manage to save, able to sustain only 1 month, which is very sad. And that's why the government, the NGO, you go out there and help them to survive. And yeah, I mean, the amount of money that we need, actual fact, we need to have at least for about 6 months. And if the MCO were to extend, I believe the government will take different way of doing it. They may not do a similar way of limitation to all parts because they have enough data now. They already cordon specific area. So maybe specific area, they will relax. Specific area, they may tighten. So this what will be what going forward. We can see now like pharma already opened up their fresh market. So 44 fresh market, if I'm not mistaken, already been start operating right now. So that shows something good that things are getting better, I believe, inshallah. I think I just answered that, Sheikh Khalil. Yeah.
Okay, we got 2 questions from the floor. From Sheikh Uzaini. His question is, how do we maneuver our business during and after the COVID-19 MCO?
Okay, so I believe Encik Uzaini also, yes, one of the financial planner. Yes, there are things that I shared just now. I think is about the same as earlier question, whereby we are talking about prior to COVID-19, we didn't use much video conferencing. We didn't use technology very much. And sometimes, blessing disguise, we can say, that sometimes outside of the problem that brought by the COVID-19, now we learn how to use all this technology. Before that, we don't care much because we use traditional way. We go outside there and look for people. For example, Encik Uzaini, one of the people that in financial industry, see people, advise client about their products and so forth, what are the suitable product that you can give to the customer and so forth by using it face to face. But now, one of the best thing that they can do is using the video conferencing, using their iPad to subscribe to the new products and so forth. You doing some alignment of the investment product, for example. I think that is the things that going forward. And after post MCO, I believe the usage of this technology will increase. And I believe my colleague here, all in front of you all in front of me, will do this and continue doing this much more than before MCO. Okay, I think that does answer Cik Zaini's question.
Okay, we have a final one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, from Cik Khairi Aizat. Customer behavior change since moratorium announced. What do you think?
Okay, since the moratorium being announced, customer habit change. Yeah, it is. I do agree. It does help the moratorium because without that, we we may not be able to survive unless people can survive post crisis. Because the government need to play their role. Without government doing this moratorium, a lot of people will suffer. This moratorium at least gives some breath for people to survive for the next 6 months. And we are not talking about 6 months we need to be under MCO, but we are talking about we need time to recover. Even after MCO also, we need time further. By moratorium, at least 6 months you don't need to pay your housing loan. 6 months you don't need to pay your car loan. It helps a lot because more than 1/3, in reality much more than that actual fact, of Malaysian are paying for out of their earnings towards these two items, which is house and car. So this moratorium really helped them to survive during the MCO. Yeah, I think this is important things. And on when we're going to recover, the global economy only can recover in 2021. But anyway, we need to do the work now. We cannot wait until 2021. I think that does is my answer for that question.
Okay, thank you, Anwar.
Mm-hmm.
We have reached our end session of this webinar, and you may check our web company Facebook, MFPC Secretariat for the pre-recordings if you want. And also for our next webinar session, which is on 13 April, RFP Module 1, Introduction in Financial Planning at 10 a.m. will be featured Mr. Teh. Okay, please thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon.